Hello, welcome to me creating a Marvel OC in The Sims 4. I introduce you to Valerie Holtzman. I sort of, kind of, have a fanfiction going on about here. That sounds confusing, but here's the thing. I am great at starting stories, original or fanfiction, or, well, at least I think I'm pretty good at doing so. But I am so shit at finishing them. It's a legit problem. I hyperfixate on something until I hit a roadblock. Then I focus on something barely related to that original topic instead of trying to overcome it, because I'm still hyperfixated. But I'm also a procrastinator, professional league procrastinator. Put me up against anyone. I'll give them a run for their money. Okay. Then, well, eventually, I get a new hyperfixation because I get bored of focusing on topics barely related to it. And every once in a while I'll go back to my old projects, but I have at least 10 random stories. None that I have finished. God forbid. Anyway, back to Valerie. In the little lore I've created for my Marvel offshoot in some random other multiverse timeline thing going on. I don't know. I've created something. Anyway, Valerie was born in a small, rural German village to a large farming family. I didn't really go into depth into planning her family for once. I have a bad habit when it comes to planning out the little details that don't matter, like family relations and trees. I created a family tree for one character I made, and it spanned from the year 600 to 2000. Whole ass family tree. Yeah. Can you see how much I hyperfixate on things now? Oops. Back to her family, though. I didn't go into depth with it, but I have some basic details that were necessary, but also kind of aren't. I imagine the child count for the Holtzman family was probably in the double digits. Not 19 kids and counting double digits, but 10 to 13, much more reasonable double-digit number, if any double-digit number of children is reasonable. I think having one child is like having too many. But that's just me. Then, after she was born, the Red Room did their Red Room stuff, bought her out from her family when she was young, and inducted her into their mess. In the timeline that I have created by looking at wikis, watching the movies, and other random people on the internet, I have decided that Valerie probably would have been born around 1999, maybe a year earlier. I don't know. So her time in the Red Room would overlap a little bit with Natasha. That's not too important here. That's just a little tidbit I'm keeping filed away in case I need it. And maybe it's fun for you to know that little bit of trivia. I don't know. What's important is that she was there in the Red Room before and after the 2008 Budapest mission, because as we've learned from Black Widow movie, the Red Room was not taken down from that. Oh, I probably should have said, spoiler warning, I'm probably going to spoil a lot of stuff from these movies in my little explanation of Valerie. Oh well, I'm pretty sure most people know the gist of all the movies by now anyway, and it's not like I'm doing any of the really new stuff. I still have not seen Thunderbolts. I am so excited to. I love Bucky Barnes. He is my favorite. Look at that beautiful man. Those thighs could make even a lesbian's mouth water. I got off track there. Oops. You probably didn't want that rat. I gave it to you anyway, for free. Eat up. It's great food. Now, here is where her story picks up, and I start manipulating canon like a bored god. After Bucky's defection from Hydra and being the Winter Soldier in 2014, Hydra decides to put into action the Winter Soldier Contingency Project. That's a little thingy I made up, not real at all. I think it's a fun little thing, though, and I kind of needed it to make the rest of my story make sense. Since the other Winter Soldiers are kind of non-operational, i.e. completely fucking feral and will kill anything with a pulse, this project involves taking the DNA of their only functional super soldier and creating a child. But to do that, they need a capable host to, make the child their new soldier. They can't do it just out of nowhere. They don't have cloning technology like Lex Luthor and his weird hyperfixation with Superman. And where else would Hydra look for that host than their best bud, the Red Room? Dreykov agrees to their little shenanigans and sends over some of his failed widows instead of killing them. He was going to use them anyway. You can have them, Hydra. Hydra does try to make it work, but for one reason or another, I don't really care. It's not important. None of those widows are able to carry a new soldier to term for them. So, the organization takes drastic measures. They decide they need a successful widow. At the time, Valerie is 17, a success, and about to have a hysterectomy after her graduation from the Red Room. Hydra sees an opportunity. They yoink her, they take her. The artificial summonation is a success, and Valerie is carrying a new Winter Soldier. How fun and how much drama. You know, unfortunately for Hydra, their little victory lap doesn't last long. S.H.I.E.L.D. is still operational in a sense. I know it technically died after 2014, but it's also not really addressed in the movies what Nick Fury was doing in the span of time between that and going up into space. My headcanon? Well, Nick Fury has gone underground and still has a team of his most trusted and is rooting out Hydra bases and operatives after the data dump in 2014. You know, this is S.H.I.E.L.D. in a sense. One of those bases that they come across is the one that holds Valerie. They come across it in 2016. So, 2016, that's when all the Avengers drama really happens. Valerie's existence will break open the plot of Captain America Civil War. I don't know, I don't really like that movie very much. And based on all the fanfiction around that movie, I imagine I'm not alone in that. Pretty much her existence throws a wrench in the timeline's head, causes enough ruckus to fix the mess directly or indirectly. I have knocked out the timeline, and I'm running amok like a god of chaos. I think Loki would be proud of me. Basically, Nick Fury pulls some strings and manages to bring in Bucky from under UN guard after the whole framing for the bombing thing. And why is Nick Fury doing this? Well, he has Valerie in his custody, and right now Bucky is the only one that can help him. She is very paranoid over the life she carries and views it as her mission to keep safe. Somehow, in her mind, the only one who can help her keep it safe is Bucky, since it's also his child. She refuses to speak to anyone but him. So Bucky is the only way for Fury to get information. And we all know how hot and bothered Nick Fury gets for some information. Like, I'm pretty sure he has a hard-on for information. Get some therapy, my guy. This will have the unintended side effect of Bucky not being under UN hold when Zemo gets there. Thus, Zemo's plan cannot go forth, and he gets caught. Ha ha ha. I have a little bit more of the story written out past that, but, you know, that's not really necessary to introduce you to Valerie. This was just setup. You know, this little piece of setup was. But, if anyone does care about this little story, maybe I will actually finish it. Probably not. Fair warning, I probably won't. But if anyone wants it, let me know, because I am considering posting this little fanfiction. I think it could be fun. I do have enough kind of written out that I think it'd be okay to post, but I'm not sure. Let me know if anyone wants to read it, though. In short, Valerie Holtzman is a 17-year-old girl of German origin and a Red Room trained operative. She has pale skin with a healthy color to it, you know, not deathly pale like me, not a fucking vampire, not gonna burn in the sun if you stand out there in 5 minutes. Like, when I go outside, I shine like a fucking disco ball. Like, I'm just so reflecting the sun's light. I think that's where the idea that vampires shine or glitter in the sunlight came from. You know, in Twilight, how vampires like glitter or something. I think that's where the idea came from. When pale people go out into the world, they just reflect the sun's rays. I'm pretty sure that's where it came from. Okay, enough about my rant about pale skin. She has long auburn hair that leans closer to brown and hazel eyes. You can see in the video how I imagine the rest of her features. I don't think it's very fun to list off every single one of her features. The video's right in front of you. Watch it. You can see what I did. You'll also notice I added some scars on her ribs, because I imagine she would have gained some over the course of her training. I mean, come on. How do you train this to be an assassin and not get 1 or 2 scars in the process? Impossible. I made her an adult in The Sims, so I could give her 3 traits. And in the story, she is rather close to being one. She would turn 18 before her child is born, so it's not like I made some egregious decision to make her an adult in The Sims. Valerie is the strong silent type. As I said, she's a bit paranoid, but there is a part of her that genuinely cares about her child past it being a mission, and that is the breakthrough to her emotional side. She was days or weeks away from her chance of ever being a mother being taken away, so while it may have been Hydra's design, she is thankful in a sense, if that makes sense. The child is hers, and she loves it, even if at times that love is warped because of her past. She didn't grow up in a loving family. She has no knowledge of what one is, but there is an undeniable maternal instinct she has, and she tries her best with what she knows. She is very protective of her child, but wary of engaging in combat of any type in fear of harming her child or not being there for it, despite being a very competent fighter. And it's also a rule Hydra had for her. She was the incubator for their next weapon. They didn't want any harm coming to her. She was allowed no training, no fighting, no combat, no missions. Practically locked in a padded room, you know. She has a lot of skills. She's fluent in Russian, German, and English. Russian is her first language, so it's her best. It's what her accent is. And her German and English are her second and third. And in comparison, they're a bit broken in comparison when she speaks them. And just like every other Black Widow, she's an expert in martial arts, espionage, infiltration. She's a good marksman and has a high pain tolerance. You know, all the things that kind of come with the territory of being a trained assassin from birth. Over the course of her story, she will have a lot of internal conflict. Her upbringing and compelling need to do what she must for her mission kind of versus the child and the care she wants to give it. Now, that's like the main conflict for her. Deep down, she wants her child to have a different life than her. She's torn between raising a strong soldier like Hydra wanted, or a normal child, you know. There is also the budding bond she has with Bucky. They have a connection through both the child and the trauma they have endured with Hydra. They have a lot in common, you know. They were both brainwashed into being weapons. They were taken by Hydra and had experiences done against their will, and both deep down long for something more. I think there's a part of both of them that longs for a sense of normalcy that they were stolen away from ever having a chance of. I don't think either of them are capable of our sense of normal, though. No, they're a bit too broken. They have too much bad they've done in their pasts. Their child, though, that is a piece of normal they can have. You know, I imagine it as a road for healing for both of them. I think it's gonna really help them out in the story. I don't know. I haven't gotten that far yet. You know, in my little version, Zemo has become but a footnote in my story, as opposed to being the big bad pulling all the strings. It's my job now. He can suck it. I'm fixing the Avengers, and I'm doing it my way, with a dark beginning, drama, and trauma, and Nick Fury being exasperated and vindicated that they need his help to clean up the mess of the Avengers operating independent of S.H.I.E.L.D. Secrets come out earlier, and he locks them in their get-along briefing room like a parent you don't want to mess with. All while trying to figure out what to do with Valerie's child, who he views as a threat, or at the very least an invitation to one. It's a baby super soldier. A lot of people want to get their hands on that, and Valerie is acting like a protective mama cat in response. Watch out, Fury, or you might lose that other eye. We all know his track records with cats and eyes. I haven't really been talking about what's going on in the video. I'm kind of sorry for that, but like, I think it's fine. It's in your face. You can see it. No need for me to spell it out for you. Besides, I think what I've been doing is more fun. Don't like it? Too bad. I am the god of this realm. But I will explain a little bit. As you can see, I've given her a lot of alternative outfits, ranging from very normal and casual stuff like the sweatpants, to stuff I imagine she would wear in training and on missions. Even if it's not very relevant to my story, I like having the visual if I need it. I think she turned out really cool looking, really badass, really pretty. I was almost tempted to download CC, but I think there is enough stuff in-game to give me the look I was going for. But if anyone's a video of me doing some CC shopping or hauls, let me know, because I'm kind of down. Like, I have a big mess in my brain, and I need to get vision for all of the mess in my brain, and I don't always feel like drawing stuff. You know, drawing is difficult, it takes time, and you smudge up paper, and that's not fun. I'm a little bit of a perfectionist. I have a little bit of OCD. It kind of bugs me. So in The Sims, I don't have to worry about any of that. I can just kind of, there's no mess. And it's a little bit faster in some ways too. And a bit more direct. I don't really need a lot of reference to be able to make something in The Sims like I would if I was drawing it. So CC helps me get the mess in my brain down. I really enjoyed this video, if you can't tell. I really hope a lot of people enjoy this content from me. I love being able to share my hyperfixations and ideas with other people. I love explaining my thought process and ranting. It's so fun. You should try it. This has been my most enjoyable video to make to date, and I really, really want to do more like this, where I make more characters and OCs. I have stocked around in my head. I really hope people want to see that from me. There are so many in my mind pushing at the walls. My little guys want to be free. Let me unleash my creative chaos onto you. Oh wow, that got a little out of hand. Anyway, back to this thing on screen. Valerie, me making her in The Sims. You can see me picking out her aspirations and traits now. I decided to go with the super parent aspiration because, I don't know, I feel like that fits most for the story I'm trying to make with her. And then for her traits, she's a loner, she's active, and I believe I put in overachiever because, she was trained to be an assassin. She wants to be perfect. She has a very big drive to be perfect in everything that she does. So yeah, I tried my best to match up her traits with what I described earlier. You can find her out on the gallery. Thank you so much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. It gives me so much motivation to continue on. It gives Valerie motivation to continue on. I kind of want to make that story. We'll see. Thank you. Bye.